Hi, my name is Todd Ross, and in 1996, my father Roy was killed while racing at the Race City Speedway in Calgary. Over the last 24 years, Bruce Hampton, president of the International Motor Contest Associates, and its drivers have put on a memorial race in honor of my father. This year, it's at the Edmonton International Raceway in Wetaskiwin. I'd like to invite you all to come down and watch some great grassroots racing on the pavement. I'd like to ask you a favor. If you are planning on coming down to the Edmonton International Raceway in Wetaskiwin to cheer on one or more of the competitors in this year's 25th anniversary Roy Ross Memorial, please buy your tickets online at eventbrite.ca or email royrossmemorial@gmail.com. All the purchases from either the online sales or through email, the proceeds go directly back to the racers of the show. Please support them and come on down and again watch some great racing. Thank you. And now we're going to watch a video of one of the competitors in this year's race. I'd like to thank Ian Burgess for doing the interviews and for providing them to the Roy Ross Memorial. Thank you. Enjoy.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our series of driver interviews for the 25th running of the Roy Ross Memorial. This year's event will be a two-day event held July 23rd and 24th at the Edmonton International Raceway. We will talk a bit more about the event and the history behind the event in Roy's son Todd Ross's interview. The goal of these interviews is to give you a chance to get to know the drivers and hear about their racing journey and what the Roy Ross Memorial means to them. My name is Ian Burgess, and I had the pleasure of racing this event in 2011 and was able to win the Trophy Dash. The trophy I received at that event is still proudly displayed in my house and gives me a chance to talk about Roy Ross and the race that was born out of tragedy. Today we welcome Michael Reeve. Michael drives the number 77 IMCA Modified, and I think it was 2017 you ran the Roy Ross.
I believe right? So.
And how did that event go for you? What do you remember from it?
Lots of cars, lots of action, lots of Grand Prairie representation, but also a mix from Central Alberta, which was really cool. Racing at a height, you get a good group of the local guys, but then anytime you can bring it down to the IR, it's really cool to see what the Edmonton guys bring in that area and even Southern Alberta. So that's kind of what I remember. There was a lot of cars packed onto a track, and there was action happening on all corners at any time. So the fans got all their money's worth for sure.
And I think, if I read right, I think you finished up on the podium, 4th place.
Yeah, I snuck in on the podium. The Edmonton guys, Mike Clark was behind me. Jamie was behind me. There's quite a few guys there that were fast cars, nipping at my heels. All the McTavishes are always super quick there. So it was my first time kind of racing in Edmonton that year, and it was all I could do to keep them behind me. So I was a bit of the pace setter out there, and they were stacked up, but it was all I could do.
Little bit of rear bumper work to do it.
That's right. Yeah, there's a little cosmetic work after that. Yeah.
So maybe just give everyone that's listening a little brief introduction. How did you get into racing? I know you have a long history of family racing, and
I'm not getting any younger, Ian. Much like you, we grew up around racing. I initially grew up around the dirt track in the north end of Grand Prairie. That'd be the late 80s, with the likes of the Kings and Clarks and the Petersons and all that. And my dad he raced a little bit. My mom raced a little bit, and then my dad was primarily a crew chief for Cascar and Rick Peterson and helping Rolly Lint and those guys when they started racing Cascar in the mid 90s. So we were always around it, traveling oval track races. And I remember growing up just watching a variety of different ovals, whether it was dirt or asphalt. And then I got out of it, kind of focused on starting my business and stuff like that through my late teens and early 20s. And then my brother started racing in mini stock classes and the 4 cylinders and height. So I kind of got around it a bit more again when he did. And then I decided I'd get a car. So I bought one up from the Chrissicks, and I started racing with my brother, and we did that for a couple of years, and it was a ton of fun. And then we both kind of got out of it again. And then a few years later, I had the opportunity to try a modified, and that was Jamie Chrissick who let me try his for a weekend. He couldn't race it. So I hopped on that opportunity and got my feet wet, and it was a ton of fun. And I've been hooked ever since.
Yeah. And so again, when I grew up the track, we kind of grew up together at the track, and
Yeah.
your parents were really involved and
Absolutely.
still do a lot out there. And I know even you sent me a picture earlier of your grandfather
Yeah.
cruising around in a car way back in the day, black and white photo. So pretty cool. What has kept you in the IMCA Modified? What about those cars has kept you in that series and going with that?
It's cool to be able to run. I've been through a variety of different race series in my career of video making. It's like you're around jet boat racing and you're around some road course racing and variety of different like that. And I honestly think the crate motor is a help for a lot of ways for a class like that, because even I'm running a crate right now and it's just a matter of copy and paste, put it in your car, not having to worry about reliability issues so much, not worry about financial issues so much. So that's one aspect that's, I think, really helped keep it competitive and cost savings and things like that. But I also think it's like how tight we are. You can throw a blanket over us. I mean, you come out, you call the races and you see it, and you can throw a blanket over the top 7 cars any weekend, and it's wild. You never know how you're kind of going to shake out in the hundreds. Jamie and I qualified the exact same time one weekend last summer. It's wild at how close these cars are. And when you get out there and it's, on the height track, we've got true two grooves out there and you're side by side for an entire heat race or an entire main event. It's a ton of fun to be inches away from your buddy doing 88 miles an hour around this track. Just, I hope he doesn't lose it and I hope I don't lose it, and you're just, it's cool for the fans, but it's really cool to be sitting in a race seat, like feeling that.
Yeah, and there's one thing I found with IMCA as a driver and just as someone that's been about it, there is a pretty big respect in the sport. I like what you talked about with saving costs, a little bit of cost saving, stuff like that. Like none of these guys out there have big pocketbooks and can afford to wreck stuff on purpose, right? And so the nice thing about that is you get a lot of really good, clean racing. They race hard, no doubt about it, but it's clean, and there's that respect of like, maybe I could cut down here, but I won't, because it's just there's no sense wadding a field up to do stuff like that. This year, I'm sure it's a 2-day show. The Roy Ross is going to be 2 days. So Friday night is the Silver Star Challenge, and I don't know if you heard, they've got a WWE wrestling belt for the champion
Nice.
of this event, and so they've gone a little different with that. And then Saturday night, Anu Gas Compression again. Mark Burton has stepped up and helped with sponsoring the trophies for that again, and that'll be the traditional Roy Ross with that big amazing trophy that we talk about a lot, but it's pretty special. And then they're going to also have what's called the Goldbrook 247, which is because there's going to be a 47 lap race on Friday, 47 lap race on Saturday. They're going to put all the points together, and there's going to be kind of a weekend championship as well. So I know you ran it before. I know you've ran EIR the single days before. We run a lot of weekends in height, and so you have experience with that. What's the difference about racing a weekend event like our Super Nationals in height, or this year the Roy Ross, compared to maybe just a 1-day winner takes all show?
Yeah, that's a really good point, Ian. Thanks for bringing it up. I know a lot of guys from Grand Prairie are excited to go down for this event, and I think the 2-day show really brings us there. And having it Friday, Saturday, and allowing the Sunday to be able to travel back home is, I think, I don't know anyone from Grand Prairie that I've been talking to that's not excited to engage in this event and take this in. And the 2 days just makes it worth that extra travel and getting down there. I'm gonna have quite a bit of family around, so it's nice that they can kind of take in either the Friday or the Saturday, if their schedules allow. So I think it just opens up more for the fans. It allows us to basically get down there and make it worthwhile to travel the entire distance, much the same as the Edmonton guys coming north for Supernats. It's, they come all that way, and we want to try and host them as best we can. And I think once you're at the track, you kind of get everything set up, and you want to do the 2 days because you got your stuff ready, you got all the tires there, and you're just ready to hit the track. So I'm definitely looking forward to this year being a 2-day event. It's going to be awesome for the fans and us.
Do you think it's going to change the way you drive or your strategy, anything like that, knowing you got 2 days of this and you can't just weld some bumpers together? Or
I don't know. Edmonton's a really cool track. It's challenging in different aspects where height, kind of, you can get away with certain things you can't in Edmonton, and I'm looking forward to kind of getting back to Edmonton because it's been actually a couple of years since I've been there. I didn't race there at all last year, so I'm pretty excited to put a different gear set in the car, get the car set up a little bit differently for a little bit smaller, flatter track and a little bit slower speeds, but more action, being able to be nimble in the pack like that, because there's going to be a good turnout of cars. I think there was already 15 last week when I looked at the car count, so it's going to be a packed track. It's going to be a ton of action and a ton of fun.
Yeah, last I heard we're up to 17 now, and I
Wow.
think there's a few on the fence. So we might hit that 20, which would be pretty amazing for the 25th running. It'll be pretty cool. What does your season look like in the car this year?
Yeah, so Dad and I have been working on the car quite a bit, just getting it ready for this season. We're going to run all 4 events at Height, so that'd be the July event, the August event, and then the 2 in September. And we're looking forward to Super Nats as we always are. But I think it's just a matter of getting more consistency in the car. We've been focusing on that. We kind of found some things at the end of last season that we're excited to kind of keep moving forward with and keeping the car consistent. That's our biggest thing. But otherwise, it's just seeing some of the guys come back and being able to race again. It's always good to have good local cars, and I've heard numbers of 10 or 12 local cars, so that'll be really exciting. And it's just a matter of getting back on the track. I think everyone's antsy after a long off season. We didn't get our June race in, so I think everyone's getting to that point where we're excited to hit the track.
Yeah, I think we were super excited that the capacity limits have been adjusted and stuff like that. So I think we're gonna see good crowds, we're gonna see good car counts, we're gonna see good racing. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Maybe just before we go, anyone you would like to thank, family, sponsors, anything like that, for helping you get out on the track?
Yeah, absolutely. So my dad, crew chief, he's always around helping. That's awesome. Curtis Robidoux always in the pits helping quite a bit, and now that he's kind of in the Chrisick family a little bit, it's hard to reel him back from the 46 crew.
You keep him, keep him.
But he said he's never going to turn his back. He's never going to go to the 46. He's going to stay in the 77. My mom's planning on coming up, and she's going to be celebrating her 60th birthday, so that's pretty cool. And so she's going to take in some races. She's going to come to Grand Prairie's opening event and then come to the Roy Ross as well, so that'll be really exciting. And then I've got quite a bit of other family too traveling up from the Kelowna area. My auntie and uncle are going to come out, and then another auntie and uncle I think are going to come out. They're from Edmonton, so it sounds like it's going to be a bit of catering the family members and then putting the car together to try and go fast, and a bit of both. But it'll be fun. It'll be awesome to have quite a few people around there that aren't naturally into racing every weekend, just to take it in for big events like the Roy Ross.
Yeah, and it's really for me, the reason I'm still in it is it's the race family, right? It's the experience, and it's not just. I mean, yeah, racing is a ton of fun, and being out there is amazing, but just the camaraderie after, and all the races we have after on the fire and stuff like that, and the stories that get a little bit longer every time someone tells them, and it's always good. It's a lot of fun. So
we are a family.
We are, for sure, and it's a lot of fun. So thanks, Michael, for this. It was a lot of fun, and we wish you a great season. I know it's going to be busy, and you're busy with your work life, but we hope that KR77 rocket ship is up there on victory lane, maybe at the Roy Ross Memorial.
Gosh, yeah, fingers crossed here. Those Edmonton guys are quick, but we'll try and get the car set up as best we can to represent Grand Prairie in the best we can do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Have a great night, and we look forward to seeing you at the 25th Roy Ross Memorial at Edmonton International Raceway, July 23rd and 24th.
Thanks, everyone.